Innovation and Tech Talks with Paul and Ants.
Another episode of the Paul and Ants podcast with Innovation and Tech Today.
Yes.
Just
Yes, it
falls
is.
right off the tongue.
See, that's what we need is sign in. Because everyone has a sign out. Everyone's like, oh, keep it crunchy. I don't know who says
Keep
that.
it crunchy.
I think there's a
Hey-o!
cereal podcast that says that, I bet.
We need some sort of catchphrase, is that what you're saying?
I thought that's how everyone starts it.
I don't think
everyone
so.
says,
Maybe some people do.
like, oh, yo, something.
It's like Poochie from The Simpsons.
It is like Poochie from The
Hey,
Simpsons.
yo.
Hey, yo.
Hey, you hep cats.
When are they going to get to the fireworks factory, though? Well, this is episode 2 of the Innovation and Tech Talks podcast featuring Paul and Ants, or Ants and Paul.
I thought I just said that.
Well, I was trying to reintroduce it.
Okay.
This is called a second opening.
Ooh,
it's
this
like
is
when
the
they have,
improved opening?
you know, Star Wars has the thing that comes towards you, and then it has the scroll telling you what
A
happened.
long time ago.
This is the a long time ago in a
Well, that's not the title of the film, though.
Is it, though? Is it?
No.
Okay, no, it's not. You're
All
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. But you're... What, I don't know what you would call that. By the way, I looked into it. So last time, folks, we were talking about a scene where Frankie Muniz and Cher are in bed together in what we can only imagine as, say, it's a scene from a movie that I just randomly remembered, and I thought it was a part of Agent Cody Banks, which is a popular... it was
not just popular, critically acclaimed.
Oscar-winning
Yes.
film. They were about to give the Oscar to La La Land,
Yes,
but instead they messed up, and it was actually Agent Cody Banks.
And it was Agent Cody Banks.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really sad that way.
But I thought it was that. What would you call that genre? Like Spy Kids, like the Robert Rodriguez stuff? Like they were like
I would
kids
also-
action flicks?
Like child versions of adult themes, almost. Because like you had Spy Kids, you had Agent Cody Banks. I feel like there's a few of those. There was remember Clock Stoppers?
Yes.
I can't believe that movie.
Yeah.
Was that a Disney movie, by the way?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Disney-
like actually, you know what? Now that you're saying it, there was like Snow Day, and there were a couple of those movies that were like that.
Do you know who was in Snow Day that you'll never guess?
I mean that you already know the.
That was
answer to
a strange question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I can't do it.
Singer Iggy Pop.
Iggy Pop,
Singer,
really?
singer that never wears a shirt. I think he might have been in it. I feel like I read that on Wikipedia or something.
All right, well,
So
it's
never mind.
definitely true.
Actually, never.
More
don't
libel
that.
from Innovation
More
and Tech
libel
Today.
Yeah, well, nobody,
libel. Oh, dude, we could just start out like that, like libel in the morning.
libel in the morning.
Paul and Ants.
I like libel in the afternoons. I don't like the libel early in the morning. I like to wait until I've had a nice luncheon before I commit libel.
So the movie that I like, just completely ignoring what you just said.
Yes, please do.
The movie
We can edit this out, right?
The movie that where Frankie Muniz and Cher were in bed together, not Cody Banks. Sorry, folks. It was the film Stuck on You.
Well, I like to think of the listeners from last week just like chomping at the bit, waiting until they found out which film that was. And also, I believe I pointed out to you before, I thought that Stuck on You that was out at the same time as Dumb and Dumber, which was the prequel to Dumb and Dumber, of course.
I don't want our
movie.
listeners to know that we've had multiple conversations about the movie Stuck on You.
I'm a little bit more okay with it. You've got a little bit more dignity than I do, my friend.
I want to major in Stuck on You studies.
Oh,
at UC Berkeley.
You know,
or something.
somewhere there's a class about that.
I'm sure there is.
Just
yeah.
like breaking down the scene, just like, now, does this scene work for you
I
kids?
want to do
where
that whole semester.
they're stuck together,
Yes.
and they're both trying to run two different ways.
Right.
Does this work for you?
Oh, I'm sure
Also,
they've done like a
you know
Farrelly
what?
Brothers.
I also
like,
thought Bubble Boy. Those three movies came out at the same time, and I thought they were
how
kind of
dare
the same.
you compare Stuck on You to Bubble Boy? I love
was-
Bubble Boy.
What? It was the same basic premise,
Are you kidding? No, it's not.
wasn't it? Instead of being two people stuck together, it was a guy in a bubble. Right? It's the same basic movie.
Right, and that and all like Roy Schneider movie. Like, I just
Roy
watched,
Schneider.
Yeah, is it Rob Schneider? Or
It's
Roy
Rob
Schneider?
Rob Schneider.
Which one's
I
Roy
think you said
Schneider?
Roy Schneider.
Roy Schneider, the guy from Jaws, right?
guy
Roy
from-
Scheider's the guy from Jaws.
The guy from Jaws.
All right, yeah, that's right.
Oh,
yeah.
that's a different thing. We should probably clear up that we recorded an episode 2. That's why some of these things are flowing so well today, or not well, depending on who the listener is. Is that we recorded an episode 2, but the audio file got a little bit messed up. So we are trying again, pretty much. So this is take 2. No, is this pulling back the curtain too much? This is pulling back the curtain too much.
I love how you're like letting everyone know that we failed.
Okay,
And
yeah.
now
Well,
we're trying again.
I thought
It's all about the artifice.
they say the first step towards not failing is failing a few times.
That's actually true.
Yeah, that is true.
That's good.
So there.
I mean,
See?
it's not like the most like I think eloquent way to like articulate that.
Well,
but,
nobody hits 100% of shots 90% of the time.
So I think like all of that, like that's like just a great combination to rationalize all failure.
Yeah.
Just be like,
Oh.
hey, I make like 90% of the time I'm gonna fail, and I'm gonna fail a whole bunch
Yeah.
before I succeed at all.
Do you know how many times I've used that?
Yeah.
The whole reason I'm alive is because of that phrase. I've been able to bring that up, and I'd be dead. I'd be dead years ago.
So it's a combination of rationalizing failures that's led to your success.
Yes, absolutely.
That's great.
It's just rationalizing failure. And now that I finally have a minor bit of
It's kinda
success,
beautiful,
I'm now
actually.
rationalizing the success, and now I've gone back and I'm gonna head back and say, it's an entire roller coaster.
That's all. That's also the Farrelly brothers like mantra.
That is
As
their
they, as they
mantra.
make movies, they're
Well-
like, we're gonna.
What? Okay, what was their first movie?
I want to say it was like Dumb and Dumber, but I don't know.
Dumb and Dumber was up there, and then Something About Mary was kind of
Yeah.
I think that was the peak, right? Because after that was when people stopped kind of being so into them.
Something about Mary. I
Yeah.
think it was Stuck on You that killed them. I want to say it was.
I thought you loved Stuck on You.
No, I don't. No, I
Oh.
just randomly remember.
Oh, you
a scene-
love Bubble Boy.
Well, yeah, I love Bubble Boy, but
The only
like,
Bubble Boy I like is the one from Seinfeld that gets really mad when they're playing Trivial
Oh
Pursuit.
yeah, that's great.
That's the only
Moors.
bubble. That's the only Bubble Boy in pop culture in my mind. I refuse to accept any others.
But anyway, long story short, Frankie Muniz and Cher in bed together. That happened in the world of film.
Yeah.
And it is in my brain, stuck in my
Stuck.
brain forever till I'm like 80. I'm going to be on my deathbed.
Mm-hmm.
Forget everything else. Forget what my family looks like. Forget what my wife's face looks like. I'm going to just like be there like, I remember Frankie Muniz
In bed with Cher.
with Cher,
What if
who is
that-
still alive.
Actually is, because you probably do have a last thought. What if that is your last thought?
Yeah, people always think that they're going to think something really profound before they die, but I have a
You
feeling.
think so?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I like to think that, my last thought is going to be great, but it's probably not. It's probably going to be like,
It's like, oh man,
yeah,
what a
it's gonna be
bummer.
about, yeah, Frank, yeah. When do you think, here's a question that's actually more important, I think, than about like
about life and
terminal
death?
thoughts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that too. But when do you think when do you think like commenting on Cher still being alive will cease to be, well, actually, how long has just mentioning that been like comedically relevant? Has been like comedically effective
Wait,
to go,
I'm
can you believe Cher's still alive? They've been saying that for like 20
I've
years.
never heard that.
Are you kidding me?
I've never
They're
heard that
all-
in my entire
They're
life.
always you're like she's still alive is like a punchline. It's
Right.
like can you believe it? It's crazy.
Do you also realize that in this innovation and tech podcast, we've talked more about Cher than we have about Android, iOS. Those are the only two things.
Are those two things now here? Are those two things mutually exclusive?
Cher and
I think we're answering the question.
Android
of why
/
Cher is
iOS.
stuck around.
You can probably rent any movie that Cher was in through the Google Play Store whenever you'd like on your on
Play
your
Store, give us
device.
money.
Google Play, please do. I think if you
Google,
just keep,
give us money.
if you just keep plugging stuff, somebody's going to write you a check,
I
right?
don't think that's true.
Nabisco. It's going to happen at some point, right?
I mean, yeah. Let's just start listing random brands.
well,
and
I
get
knew-
money from them.
I knew a guy in college that Monster Energy is a company
Yeah.
that you may know of if you've been to a gas station. And he was a drummer in a band, and Monster Energy paid for him to get a tattoo of the M, and said anytime he took his shirt off during a concert, they'd pay him like $100, $150.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
Yeah, that's insane.
that's insanely great if you ask me.
Yeah.
That pays for itself after a little bit, right?
It makes me think of how everything's advertising right now, and I was just
What are you talking about, Hershey's?
I was just watching. I think it was like the angry video game nerd, right? He's been making YouTube videos for a long time,
right?
Like one of the early viral stars, I guess. Like not even viral stars, but like consistent YouTube entertainment, like serial YouTube entertainment.
Is that him and like Nostalgia Critic are kind of the
Shaytards too? I would say.
Yeah, that's of the Mount Rushmore of early.
There were a whole bunch of. I want to say there were like a dozen. There was like a dozen or so like big YouTube stars from the get-go.
Like pre-YouTube stars, kind of, when you really think about it. Like early YouTube stars.
Right.
Where, I mean, that internet era was more websites like eBombs World and FunnyJunk.com.
Albino Black Sheep, if you remember that.
I don't think I.
That was the one. That was the one I first saw the Star Wars Kid.
Really?
Thing on. Yes. That and the Numa Kid. Those were on that site.
The Numa Kid. Also, he'd be a great guest.
He'd be a great
guest.
Once
we start having guests on here.
Yeah, I want to say, didn't he guest star in that episode of South Park, or am I?
I don't think he actually guest starred. Did he?
All right. Oh, yeah.
Plus, he didn't talk. I think they just had him do the Numa thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I have no idea.
That was a good episode because that was before you actually made money on viral videos.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what that's what I was gonna say.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's so at the end of the episode, I'm listening to this guy just rant about, he rants about bad video games. He plays a bad video game. And then he makes jokes about it, But at the end, because of YouTube's new like monetization policies and the way advertising works on YouTube, he plugs Full Sail University. He does a full voiceover ad for Full Sail University with their video and everything, like right at the end, and it's so strange. It's so bizarre.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't have an issue with it, really.
I think that you should separate church and state when it comes to that stuff. Imagine if so you're watching like Conan O'Brien,
right,
or something like that. Imagine like Conan O'Brien just moves over into another studio and starts like trying to sell you dog food or something like that.
Well, like there's a difference there though. With Conan O'Brien, there's commercial breaks in between.
Yeah.
With Angry Video Game Nerd, you have like people using ad block. You have, it's a little bit different in that sense. So they kind of have to turn to that at some point in order to keep making money and keep their show going. They say our revenue's down because either people using ad block or like YouTube's ad policies kind of sometimes change. And I know a lot of people are having problems with that right now. Here's
an idea, like with people using ad block, and like why is it important that the content is so native? Like why don't they, instead of just like having the ad then like pop up due to some algorithm during the video, which can be blocked, why don't they just give the YouTuber the raw video itself to edit into the video?
I think that they probably make a little bit more money when they actually do the voiceover.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
It actually,
because it's coming from a place
that
that's trusted by their fan base.
I really don't have a problem with it. I'll be honest.
It's crazy.
I think if you can make money with an independent show like that, and you want to keep your show going, I have no problem with it.
I just think that it takes something away from it for me. It does. It's like it's the same thing. Like who were you watching? We were watching Norm Macdonald. And he was actually, by the way, if you haven't watched this video of Norm Macdonald trying to sell, he's a comedian. If you're not familiar with him, trying to sell the man grate.
So it's from his video podcast, which is fantastic, by the way. And he has sponsors in between. So he does the little pop-ups where he's just like, this episode of Norm Macdonald is brought to you by the man grate. And he'll do it, and they couldn't get through it because like he would start laughing or his guest would start laughing. They'd kind of make fun of the product, but it almost becomes more memorable that way.
Yeah.
Like they pulled their sponsorship after a little bit, but they shouldn't have, because it becomes more memorable in that. Even though they're making fun of it,
right?
Like to be that well known, it would not be that well known if they weren't like.
That's true. You and I have now heard of the man grade because of Norm Macdonald.
Once entertainment and advertising intersect, I really don't have a problem with it. If it's actually entertaining, I really don't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of torn, I guess, because like I think especially in YouTube, the whole I feel like a huge part of what I get from that form of entertainment is this feeling that I'm watching someone authentically, or at least more authentically than on television, express themselves. Yes. Now, I think like that's started to change over the last few years now that it is becoming more commercial. But I think that that's what drove a lot. And this is something, if you ever watch this video by this. I think he's an anthropologist, Michael Wesh. I think it's Michael Wesh. He talks about like the early days of YouTube. And it was like back in 2009, I think, when he's giving this lecture, and he's talking about like how he is talking about like the Numa Kid and how it went viral, and like it was like right when they were starting to examine how people behaved on YouTube. He actually got his students to like film themselves each day to like do a vlog, 50 of them or so.
Okay.
And over time, they at first they're very uncomfortable in front of the camera. They can't do it. But after a while, they get more accustomed to the camera being there. They're able to, you can watch them like transition into becoming like, kind of like vlogger stars, like where they start to understand like how to behave in front of the camera.
Right.
Like, whereas before they're like super self-conscious. They can barely even like get a full sentence out.
Yes.
But anyway, so I'm thinking just like, in the beginning, it was all about the thrill of watching these people authentically be themselves in front of the camera. And that was cool.
Yeah.
It was like kind of intimate in a way that like we weren't used to seeing on, say, television or something like that. And that's part of what made YouTube great. But now you've got these same people, forced like to make money. I guess they're not forced to make money, but it's there. So why not try?
Well, yeah, if you can make your creativity into a job, I say more power to you.
Yeah.
So I think
fair enough.
Yeah. And that's why I have really no problem with it.
Yeah.
But I do think it does change it a little bit when they do have to probably work through ads a little bit more, like within their own show.
Yeah.
I do think that's the problem with ad block, though.
Yeah.
I think that's because of it. Because before, you didn't have to have any connection with whatever ad was playing before your episode.
Right.
It was just, Pepsi or whatever, but they wouldn't know that they're advertising for that. It's all through that algorithm. So you can pretty much still do whatever you want.
So you're cool with it, but you're still like admitting that it's like a necessary evil kind of because of ad block?
What do you mean?
So it's like you're cool with native advertising. Like if I have a vlog, right, and I'm like, okay, by the way, I don't know if you kids have heard of this thing called Pepsi, but it's pretty great.
Absolutely.
You're okay with me doing that.
Absolutely, because of ad block, absolutely.
So it's just because of ad block, though.
Yeah.
Would you prefer that they just be regular commercials?
What do you mean?
Would you prefer that, like, say I have my little entertainment set, I'm Norm Macdonald, I'm doing my shit.
Yeah.
And then I have, and then I, it's just a Pepsi commercial.
Yeah.
Like a regular Pepsi commercial. Would you prefer that to Norm Macdonald actually, holding up a Pepsi and go, that's good
like,
Pepsi.
What was that scene that you showed me?
I showed you
World
that there's
War
a
Z?
scene from World War Z where Brad Pitt he's in a zombie infested hospital or something, and he just like finds a random functional Pepsi machine fully stocked in the zombie apocalypse.
It's fully stocked.
And he gets into the
still
Pepsi
cold.
machine, grabs a Pepsi, and it's like a minute long scene of the movie where he's drinking the Pepsi, and he makes an audible, crisp, like refreshing sound like after he drinks the thing. It's great.
Yeah, and that's not great.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. That's not great. It's while his family's being torn apart, if I remember right. He's just I just forgot about it because of the bold taste.
I
of
feel
Pepsi.
like any commercial would get away with that kind of stuff as long as they use like the Mentos theme.
Yeah,
Do 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 do. His family.
Mentos freshness. You forget the zombies are killing your family.
Grisly scene of his family being murdered in the
Yeah,
background, and but
something I forgot.
it doesn't matter what comes.
It's kind of like that Milky Way thing that they're doing now. Milky Way. What's sweet?
What's Milky
yet
Way
crunchy.
doing? Yeah.
It's where
Crunchy,
like
juicy.
their whole thing now is just like, sorry, I was eating a Milky Way. So a girl's like tattooing a guy wrong, and I think somebody runs over some school children. I don't remember. Maybe,
my
maybe not
God.
that.
Oh
I don't
my-
know. It was a little intense, maybe. Maybe not exactly that, but it's kind of like it would be kind of like that. It's like it's so good you forget what's around you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But we're talking a full-fledged, maybe not full-fledged, but
Yeah.
a kind of a movie that came out in theaters, like an artistic object that was supposed to do more than just like sell Pepsi.
Has there been like a product placement that you've seen? Like that's probably the most obvious I've ever seen. Has there been anything else like that where it didn't really fit and it's obvious that it's like, getting some of that green?
Well, yeah. I mean, everyone points to this one, but Man of Steel.
Man of Steel is
IHOP
pretty rough.
thing was like crazy, man.
But
yeah,
they're advertising for IHOP, but that IHOP got destroyed in that movie.
by the villains. Superman was trying to save that IHOP.
Superman did not do a great job.
No, he didn't.
The
Just
delicious
overall.
taste of IHOP pancakes was not protected by Kal-El.
I just wish that they had done like a follow-up spin-off commercial where Superman's like eating at the IHOP.
I bet they did. Do
you think so?
They always do that, man. Remember the Lorax? I showed you that Lorax stuff when I was writing that thing up. And the Lorax was insane with all the commercials it did. Because it was in, even though the Lorax speaks for the trees, it was in that like SUV car commercial.
Yeah, but the difference is that like those SUVs weren't actually in the film.
That's true. That's a good point.
It would be like, didn't I want to say like The Hobbit had some promotion at Denny's or something?
Yes, it did.
It did? Oh my God.
I think that was right. Was I working there still? No. This was not when I was working there anymore, but I ate there during it. And yeah, there was like the Hobbit Hutch hash browns and the, I don't know. Like,
I don't want the Hobbit
it's like,
hash browns.
I'm sure this is exactly what J.R. Tolkien was thinking as he's typing away, just like, someday my name will be on a Denny's menu.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Like, so if you're gonna go, whole hog and say like, if you can creatively make money, like why not? And we're talking about all these like artistic objects, right?
Yeah.
Like, even like the YouTube entertainment. I mean, I would argue that that's an artistic object.
Absolutely.
Right? What if like I'm a novelist and Pepsi? Let's say I'm James Patterson or I'm John Grisham. I'm a best-selling novelist. And I'm writing my novel, and Nabisco, comes.
Nabisco makes wonderful cookies.
Could you have like the characters eating Nabisco cookies while they're eating breakfast or something like that?
I guess it really depends on. I think it's a little bit different because with books, your main source of revenue is sales. With something like YouTube, your main source of revenue is advertising. I think that makes it a little bit different.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But that is interesting that with books and movies, like movies, we've accepted that product placement will be in there.
Yeah.
But books, it is kind of weird when you're just like, man, he took a sip of a Dr. Pepper. Interesting.
Right.
A man is dead. I don't know why he's doing that. When you're reading James Patterson or whatever.
If that were the case, then like Pall Mall cigarettes would have owed like authors a lot of money.
Oh.
Every time you read a book,
everyone smokes Pall Mall.
It's
in
just because
books.
it's a fun thing to write. Mall.
I read a Clifford book the other day, and he just sat and lit up and just like, why am I so big?
Don't try, kids.
I was
don't try.
At Easter this year. I got invited to sit at the kids' table, obviously, because I'm 25.
That's great.
And
I love going to the kids' table.
I didn't know how to talk to them.
Yeah,
I didn't know what to say, so I was just like, "So why is Clifford so big?" And they just like looked and they're like, "You're right. Why is he so big?"
Yeah.
And I destroyed there.
They're all going to be film theorists.
Yeah, they are.
And book critics now. Like,
I wonder if
the question.
Do you think the next generation is going to be like much more critical?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just because of like I think that the internet has, I'm not the first to say that, but like the internet has made everyone a critic. You're allowed to express your opinion in an open forum, like a public forum, on every form of entertainment now.
Well, that's interesting. But do you think that's more people will get out their criticism there? Or do you think it's just people are going to be constantly that way? Because a lot of people say with that's how people like let off steam is leaving angry all caps comments saying, Anthony, why don't you delete your YouTube channel?
Right.
I've actually gotten some like mean comments on my channel.
What's the meanest thing
I used to do
someone
kind of
said to you?
trollish videos.
Yeah.
And what was one of them? It was just something like, this video is terrible. Because I did some video on why I'm not voting for Bernie Sanders, and it's because he won't announce Sonic Adventure 3. And there was somebody said, this has got to be the stupidest video I've ever seen.
Isn't that kind of the point, though?
So I just responded just like, hey, thank you for that. Like, if you'd like to see more videos, like click here, and I just like linked it to my channel. Yeah. He never responded again.
That's good for him for not taking the bait.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that. I just wanted to plug my channel.
That's kind of
Anthony
crazy.
Elio, yeah. It's a wonderful channel. But we were talking about like are people getting out their like aggression there?
Yeah.
I remember that was a big thing when violent video games were the big topic.
Yeah.
Was like, hey, like that's how people get out aggression is by beating up swimmers at the beach in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
I only go after the swimmers.
Only the swimmers. Well, the beach was great because you could just drive endlessly.
Oh yeah.
And the cops would like never go that far out. So you just get in like a dune buggy and just be running people over.
Yeah, if those video games were really so influential, like all crime would take place on the beach.
Oh yeah,
We were just-
absolutely. It's just like, answer. Are you sure you want to go to the beach? You better take
Right.
Better take this with you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's total bull.
Wait, what is? Are we talking about?
No.
Beach violence?
Beach violence is great.
Oh,
But I was talking about the notion that video games are responsible. Although I don't know, man. Sometimes I think that I remember when I was a kid and I was playing like wrestling video games.
yeah.
And I did try a wrestling move on my brother, and I straight up chipped his tooth.
Oh my God.
And I was trying the pedigree, a la Triple H, and I dropped his face onto the tile floor of the kitchen and chipped his tooth. And to this day, I feel awful about it.
Another victim of Triple H mania.
So I kind of did do what I guess
Yeah.
Tipper Gore and
Yeah.
like
Listen to you,
people
man.
I did kind of like
You
do
proved
that thing.
Tipper Gore right yet again.
Well, she was talking about she was talking about music. I guess Tipper Gore was. She was saying that Marilyn Manson's lyrics and stuff like. Oh no, not Marilyn Manson, but Twisted Sister. That they were like responsible for some violent, some kind of violent crime.
Was her name really Tipper?
No,
Okay.
that was her nickname.
Okay, good.
She tipped.
I don't know why good.
She would,
I don't know.
I'm just joking.
curious.
I know she would tip things over, and this was a great nickname.
Why was cow tipping a thing?
I don't think it's ever been a thing.
Okay, I feel like I've
Have
seen
you
that
ever
in so
tipped a
many
cow?
movies. No, because I don't think I've ever seen a cow.
Never seen a cow.
Probably not unless it's people sharing videos trying to make me feel bad.
That was so bizarre, gosh, I don't want to get into religion, but it's just like it's like different worlds and stuff like that. I was hearing on the news this morning that there's a nationalist sect of Hindus in India, and there's like an illegal smuggling of cattle within the country. And of course, in Hinduism, cows are sacred, sacred animals, and it just like. I don't know. For me, I was just like, wow, it's just a different world where you're living in this country and it's cattle are sacred. There's a cattle smuggling ring or something like that.
Right.
It's just crazy to me,
I just think it's interesting. Like, what are you in jail for? Cattle smuggling ring? That's not really the coolest story to have.
Sitting next
also-
next to Cher, who's in prison for sleeping with a
Sleeping
minor.
with Frankie Muniz. Yes, we've come full
After
circle.
the, after the
people.
fact. Yeah.
We've come very full circle. How did we jump to this? We were talking about like product placement and things like that.
I don't know. We were talking about YouTube and stuff too.
I was gonna say most. The one product placement everyone seems to bring up that was, I guess, kind of organic was Reese's Pieces in E.T.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Everyone
was
says that was
really
pretty
effective,
organic,
too.
though,
Yeah,
right?
It was really effective.
However, the ripoff of E.T., Mac and Me, have you ever heard of that?
Yes, I have.
I guess was a lot more blatant with their product placement because they had a scene where they go to McDonald's and they have a 3-minute song about how great McDonald's is.
Was it like McDonald's and Me?
No, his name is Mac. He's an alien that
Okay.
looks. I think he just looks like if you dipped E.T. in cheese. That's what he would look like. And it was
Okay.
actually kind of delicious looking.
Yeah.
But they had like an entire scene, where they go to, and I feel like he pushes a kid gets pushed off a cliff at some point.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. So look that up, people. Somebody look that up.
I had a toy from ET, like an ET toy from McDonald's.
Oh.
Back in the day when they used to do. Do they still do Happy Meals at
Oh,
McDonald's?
of course. Actually, the
toys?
toy right now is Super Mario toys.
Oh my gosh!
And,
how do you know what the toy is right now for Happy Meals?
Because come on, is that really that surprising? You've known me for a while.
I guess so.
What was the story I was telling you earlier? Where you said it sounded like I was. What was it? I came in here. I said something. You're like, oh, it sounds like the beginning of a horror, like the tagline to a horror movie.
Oh yeah, great tagline to a horror
Also,
movie is you came up with the best tagline to a horror movie.
What was it? Oh, it was
I remember.
I don't
it.
feel comfortable inside my skin, but I feel comfortable inside your skin. Coming this summer.
No. It was
that
better
not
than
it?
that. No.
How could you get better than that?
Oh, it was the comfortable and uncomfortable thing, but the phrasing was like so good.
He doesn't feel.
He doesn't
comfortable
feel-
in your skin, but he doesn't feel.
He never feel-
He never feels comfortable.
He never feels comfortable in his own skin, but he always feels comfortable
Good
in
lord.
yours.
Yeah. No.
I don't know about the Wii U thing. Oh, is that a siren?
That's a siren going off, and then there's rain trickling down.
I don't think sirens are ever in the horror movie trailers.
They're not, are they?
No, because it's like that's the safety net.
Do you know why? Because they never have any policemen.
The police
in every
never show
horror.
up.
They always have bumbling cops. Well, they're like, play it serious, but it's always like, why didn't you come 10 minutes ago? You could have saved our life.
I'm trying to. I think there was like one where it was really egregious. I think like a recent movie where it was like, well, looks like nothing's going on here. We'll just.
Was it The Witch?
Have you seen what movie is it? The Jordan Peele movie. Get Out. Get Out. Yeah.
I saw the first half.
Okay.
And then I had to leave. But
I feel like that's one where they make fun of the police like not doing anything because they all claim.
I think if I remember that.
Yeah, they
remember the
claim
beginning of
crazy.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that always seems to be the case where the police comes in to check.
Yeah.
Is everything all right? Well, nothing seems out of the ordinary, but we'll be back. And the police comes back later, and then always or somebody comes back later and gets killed.
My favorite, it's the worst one, but if you've ever seen Misery.
I love Misery.
I love that movie too. But that sweet old cop, that movie does such a great job of making you care about a side character.
Yes.
And then killing him off. Oh my God, because it builds up this nice, cozy relationship he has with his wife. You see them reading in bed together.
Yeah.
They make sarcastic comments to each other. It feels like a real marriage. Like it's like nice and it's lovey-dovey. It's great. And then he gets shot brutally through the back with like a double barrel shotgun.
Because you see it like through his chest.
Oh, it's awful.
It's hardcore.
Yeah. Oh, and you're just like, so sad when that happened.
My girlfriend read the actual book version.
Yeah, I did too.
And I didn't know the book version was a little more hardcore too.
Yeah,
she cut off his thumb or something.
Well, she doesn't hobble him like she does in the movie.
Okay, no, we don't need to get too far into it.
Okay, I guess maybe not.
We're trying not to get that explicit tag, right?
Yeah, she cuts off both of his feet.
Oh, good Lord. Oh. My Lord.
Maybe just one actually. I can't remember. And then she cauterizes the wound with like a blowtorch.
Well, that was kind of nice.
Yeah, I guess
nice
so.
Yeah, that's very
I think
kind
it's
of
so
her.
he won't die, and so he can finish writing the book.
Would the cauterizing hurt?
Would the cauterizing hurt?
I've never had anything cauterized. I don't know.
I imagine so.
All right. Well, I learned something today.
Hot flame, sir, like on your stump of a leg.
And lightsabers always make it look so simple. That's all I'm saying.
Luke screams in pain when he gets his hand cut off.
Did he?
He's just crying. He's just immediately mourning the loss of his hand.
Yeah, that's why. It didn't hurt that much. He's just like, ah.
Why would you ever mourn a limb in the Star Wars universe? Like, you use a limb. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now you get a sweet robotic one.
That's true. Yeah, it seems like you get a better one.
You get a way better hand.
That's true.
Because he uses his hand to,
is not that great.
Like, I think Darth Vader use his hand to block laser fire in Empire
that's
Strikes
right.
Back?
Is that his robotic one?
Yeah, it's his robot one. Yeah.
Oh, right on.
So you would always do that.
And then C-3PO gets a robotic arm too. Everyone, so many people in that universe.
Yeah, I think we talked about this last time.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yes, I just realized that.
It all comes back to lost appendages in Star Wars.
Yeah, it always comes back to Cher and Star Wars. Star Wars and Cher.
Cher seems like someone who would have been in that Star Wars special.
Oh,
like Jefferson Starship.
I bet, I guarantee that they tried to book her and she was busy. Because I don't think she would turn it down, but I'm sure she was just busy or something. Because that is a perfect fit.
That's when she was getting to be more of a film star, I think, in the late.
What 80s, better way?
Yeah, late 70s, 80s. I can't remember.
What is your favorite part of that special, by the way?
The Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yes.
My favorite part, the very beginning. The very beginning when you don't. Because I remember the first time I watched it, and I was just sort of baffled by its existence. I think like everybody else, and the opening the mystery of it. You don't know when you're doubting that this is even Star Wars, you're like, this can't be Star Wars. And then it starts to dawn on you that it is licensed property by Star Wars. And then you just get it. Like that first 10 minutes where it's just the Wookiees jawing at each other with this just incomprehensible.
What were the names? They're Itchy, Mitchy.
It's something
and
like that.
Stump.
Yeah, it is.
They
just get there, going back and forth.
Do you know what the thing is though? And they really captured this well. There's this ABC sitcom called The Goldbergs. The Goldbergs, Wednesday nights at 8. Proud sponsor.
It's great.
Where there was an episode about the start where the kid is so excited because he's like, I got a bootleg version, and it was only aired once, and it's the Star Wars special.
Yeah.
So it was not well known that it was like a bad special.
Okay.
People were like, Star Wars, and it was like a special. And he watched it, and it just crushed him. And he just like lost all of his boyhood. He like tears down all of his posters, and
That's crazy.
I bet that actually happened a lot.
Yeah.
Where it kind of maybe not ruined.
I don't think so because it was just for one night. It wasn't the internet didn't exist. So
I just meant like that style of getting the like bootleg version or whatever, where you don't know it's going to be bad, and you're just excited. It's Star Wars. There's only been one movie, and you're so excited for anything Star Wars.
Sure.
And you see Wookiees yelling at each other. B. Arthur running a space bar.
Mm-hmm.
There's a 5-minute tutorial on how to put together like a remote control, right?
It's not a remote control. Oh gosh, no, it is.
What was it?
Yeah, it is. Like it's a remote control or something that doesn't exist.
A small Jefferson Starship cameo, and then
Jefferson Starship sucks. By the way,
how dare you?
Their manager yelled at my dear lady once.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Really?
So she was putting on in Roswell, New Mexico. So this is where Jefferson Starship is. This is where they've landed.
Yes,
right?
this is where Starship has landed.
Starship landed at the UFO. I think the annual UFO festival in Roswell, New Mexico.
Burfa or Barfa or what's the name of that? No, what's the name? There's like a city or an area that people get together for that. It's called like Barfa.
Oh, I don't know. I'm talking about the Roswell.
I saw it on King of the Hill. Never mind.
Yeah. Oh, I know. In Texas, I think it's Marfa.
Marfa.
Yeah,
okay, that's the one. Yeah.
But this is in Roswell, so that doesn't.
So that has nothing to do with anything. All right.
But anyway, no. So they're putting on a show, and like that was the headliner. Jefferson Starship, big deal for Roswell, New Mexico, Podunk Town. I graduated high school there. I'm allowed to call it a Podunk Town.
Yes.
It is. So they go Rockets. They their manager's on the phone. My wife's trying to put together these gift baskets or whatever for like VIP people who I mean, it's a huge deal for Roswell to play host to Jefferson Starship.
Absolutely.
Right? They were going to meet fans exclusively at the Peppers on Main Street and everything. It was going to be great. But anyway, he starts yelling at her and actually like using that line, like, "Do you know who I am?" Wow. And she got a little sassy with him and was like, "Yeah, you're the manager for Jefferson Starship." And it's 2010.
That's awesome. What did he say to that?
I think he just kept yelling and hung up. I'm not sure, like, what actually.
How did they get in contact?
Oh, because she was like helping to coordinate the event. Yeah, she was working for the convention center, I think, there in Roswell.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool.
Yeah.
Are we pulling back the curtain too much? Are we
talking too much about our lives?
About our own lives? I guess I did plug my own.
I think we're allowed to do that. This is like, I think podcasts are supposed to be a little more intimate, right?
I don't want people to know much about me. There's a lot of unpleasantness.
The one last thing, we were talking about YouTube videos. There was this couple that got in trouble recently. We were talking about.
Yeah.
Did you hear about this?
I did hear about that.
I think it was like called Daddy-O5, the channel or something like that.
Well, there's your first red flag. I think it was Daddy-O5.
What, the fact that they have 5 children as a red flag?
Oh no, just that name just doesn't sound. Just Daddy-O5, like that's a red flag for me.
How is that a red flag?
It just doesn't sound right.
You just don't like it.
I don't care for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
we can edit this part out, right?
No.
Okay. Never mind.
Do it. Yeah.
Go on though.
Yeah. But anyway, they this guy's trying to get famous with his YouTube channel,
right? And
so he starts pranking. You can't see my fingers doing the quote thing, but he starts pranking.
I can confirm that he's doing the quote thing.
Do you guys know what? I don't know the pranking thing's all about. I mean, you guys have seen the. I don't know why I'm saying you guys. Like I'm asking
fellas,
listeners a question or whatever. But these YouTube pranks, and sometimes they're called social experiments. They're not really pranks most of the time. It's just people doing cruel things to one another, or like people walking down the street and saying something lewd or obscene or whatever, and then going, "It's just a prank," It's like license to get away with anything, I
don't like that.
It's not a real prank. Prank is like tricking somebody, like the looking into the bottle of water, and then splashing someone in the face.
No,
with
I
it.
find
That's
that
a prank,
cruel.
But anyway, so to try and get famous, this guy does these prank videos where he just starts yelling at his kid for no reason.
Well, if I understand right, like the prank of it is like he accuses his son of, I don't know, misplacing his Michelob Ultra,
Right.
or something like that, and then
Are you saying all douchebags drink Michelob Ultra?
obviously not a sponsor, Michelob Ultra, but it, like accuses him, and the kid's obviously like, "No, I didn't,"
Yeah.
and then he just starts yelling at him, and I think he makes them cry, and I heard he physically something like abuses them too
I don't know.
as part of the quote prank. Can you confirm that I'm doing
yeah,
the quotes?
yeah, you are
Okay.
doing the quote thing.
Thank you for
Yeah.
that. Now we don't get sued. But yeah, what's that? What were you gonna say about that?
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's it's that manner of like being inauthentic to the point where you're actually hurting people around you, hurting
Yes.
yourself, I guess, as a father. It's affecting the way you behave. You're trying to get that money so hard that you're willing to sacrifice the well-being and future, really, like, of your kid. To just to strive for this fame. It's just a crazy world.
Well, it's that whole thing of like pretending to be somebody else
Yeah.
for a level of fame.
Yeah.
It is being inauthentic, and
Yeah.
the problem is especially when you bring kids into it,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
you can
man.
seriously harm them.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a problem there.
Well, I think all those prank videos are that's the scum of the
The-
internet.
Those
really,
those
a lot
kids
of them.
got taken away, by the way, from them.
No way.
Yeah,
Really?
to
wow.
I think their birth mother now has them.
Are they Americans? Or are they like? Is this overseas? I was
What
going to
is
say
that?
Child Protective Services, but I don't know if
I
it's.
think it
like-
was Child Protective Services.
Okay.
I think it
so
was
they're, like Americans. Okay.
I think it was Dr. Bees went in and
Dr.
saved
Bees
them.
did.
My
Influx
favorite,
of bees.
an influx of
Well,
bees. Now one of my favorite viral
Great
videos,
YouTube
by the way.
video. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Also, prank videos in general, or pranks in general,
Yeah.
I've found over the years, I am really not a fan of. It's just not really my kind of humor. I think
Yeah.
like sometimes it can be kind of funny. I think it was just watching a lot of The Office.
Right.
Like some of the pranks that Jim would pull on Dwight would like kind of go overboard, or
Yeah.
kind of just like why did you spend that much time to do that? You know?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a great prank that one that I really okay. So I mentioned the bottle of water thing.
Yes.
There's a video where this old woman pranks her husband
Yeah.
into doing the looking down the bottle at the water, and she splashes him in the eye, and he starts laughing. It's very cute and
Yeah.
everything. It's kind of like, that's nice. It's a nice prank. They're
Right.
both laughing together. It's when the other person can can start laughing at their own. At being so gullible, at themselves. I think it's funny.
On the surface, that did seem like a very sweet video. You
Yeah.
didn't see afterwards. He torched her car. Yeah. So
Oh, I love
Gotta
the
keep an eye out.
videos where they take somebody who's like passed out drunk at a at a campgrounds or something like that. And their
what?
friends put
Huh?
them on an inflatable mattress, like on the middle of a pond or something. It's
good
great.
lord,
And they wake up. Oh, those are perfect.
that
haven't seen
person
those?
could drown, right?
Didn't that happen in the remake of The Parent Trap to
Wait, what?
to Dennis Quaid?
Did it? Wait,
Yes,
the kids
Lindsay
got
Lohan.
him drunk?
Lindsay Lohan. No,
Lindsay
no, they didn't.
Lohan's.
Lindsay Lohan's, both of them.
Yeah.
They got him drunk. No, they didn't get him drunk.
Did they? They're just like,
They
come
didn't get
on,
him drunk.
Dad.
Maybe he was drunk. I don't know. But they put him on a little inflatable mattress thing, and they push him out to not to sea, but it's a it's a lake or something. and he
Lovely
wakes up
family film. Attempted murder of a parent.
Yeah, he could have died. He could
Yeah.
have drowned or something.
That's-
Maybe
that's-
I don't know.
that's pretty
Probably not.
hardcore.
Yeah.
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 Well,
Yeah.
you obviously remember The Parent Trap a little better than I do.
I'm remembering really bad movies
What was-
in good detail.
There was a prank that they pulled with a lizard in the Parent Trap that I remember being
Oh, yeah.
kind of like, this is overboard. And I was a kid watching.
Yeah.
What
They're just
did
very
they do? They put a
sensitive
lizard in something, in somebody's something. I don't
Oh,
remember.
I don't know.
Maybe they. I don't remember what they did. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you know what they did,
Comment. See, every week we will just end
Every
on a
week.
cliffhanger.
yes, We will find out what
with some obscure 90s and 2000s film that nobody really remembers.
Yes.
And then next week we'll address it shortly and then forget about it.
We were talking about viral earlier. I think we just discovered the recipe.
Yeah. This is the real clickbait, people.
That's right.
Cliffhangers.
What happened? You'll never guess what.
You'll never guess
Lindsay
what
Lohan,
these two podcast hosts were talking about.
You'll never guess what Lindsay Lohan did to a to a teacher with a lizard.
Do you know Lindsay Lohan?
I would click on that.
Lindsay Lohan's missing part of her finger now.
Why? I mean,
what?
First off, what a great question. Did you know that Lindsay Lohan
Did you know?
is missing part of her finger?
How is that not a good transition? We were talking about a Lindsay Lohan movie.
No, I didn't know that Lindsay.
All right.
Okay, so
there you
tell
go.
why it was. Oh,
Well,
should we save that for next time?
We'll save that for next time.
Why is Lindsay Lohan?
No, I'm just kidding. It was a boating accident.
Oh, come on. I really thought that was great. A boating accident,
Yeah.
you say?
Yeah.
Sounds like a shark to me.
Sounds mysterious.
All right.
Well,
All
until
right.
next time,
Yeah,
people.
that's it, folks. I'll see you next time. Or we'll see you next time.
We will see you next time.
Oh,
What are you? Am I getting fired?
No. I don't know. I just said it's weird. When you're talking to someone who's not there. Just
What?
I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.